This message was channeled a few years ago now, and it describes ego and love. Ego. Enormous, gigantic, over the top. Ego is the bearer of negativity. It tries with endless determination to rule without regard for anyone. Ego is an endless circle of self-imposed obligations that serve only the ego itself. Even the soul whose ego is directing is not benefiting from the wants of the ego. The soul benefits and grows from needs being met, but shrinks when the wants of the ego are being met. Ego is directed by fear, and under the umbrella of fear resides anguish, jealousy, negativity, resentment, judgment, manipulation, and unkindness. Fear fears love. It fears love because just like water is able to extinguish fire, love is able to extinguish fear, and all else that fear represents. Fear appears to be strong and powerful, but in true universal reality, fear is easily disabled. When fear is disabled, so too is the ego. Ego has many tools within its transparent toolbox, and usually the first tool it will call upon is control. It will use whatever avenue it sees fit to utilize control within a situation. This avenue may be to tell a lie, it may be to use harsh or unkind words, which under the perfect circumstances will deflate another soul, hence ego gaining control. It may go so far as to use physical force. Another tool that may be called upon by the ego is manipulation. Manipulation is defined as the use of words in an inappropriate manner with a self-serving objective in mind. It is coercing another to partake in an activity by influences that may appear to be beneficial to both parties but are not. Manipulation creates a false sense of perception in another, with the ultimate goal benefiting only the ego who is manipulating. Manipulation comes with an enormous karmic debt, and when recognized by either the transmitter or the receiver, must be acknowledged and removed promptly. It is one of many untruths of creation that are not conducive at all to the compassion of others. Ego will also call upon emotional or physical abuse to gain control over another. There are usually no limitations within the ego when this tool is in use. When you feel that another's ego is attempting to use this form of control on your own soul, it is advised to remove yourself from the reach of the ego that is attempting to harm your own soul. Call upon those you trust if you are unable to find a way out of the dark and endless cave. Once ego has taken root in someone's soul in such a way, it must be recognized, acknowledged, and learn new ways before change within can transpire. Oftentimes, this is a slow and arduous process, but with intent to throw ego to the wind and diligence to embrace new, alternative, compassionate spiritual ways of managing emotions, change is able to be created. Ego will never entirely disappear from a person's being. It does, however, require constant reminders of its boundaries. Ego is like a high-maintenance vehicle that requires servicing frequently. Love, however, is my favorite topic. It is quaint, real, pure, and most of all, it is our source. It is our original seed that has formed billions of other seeds simply by watering the original and all the subsequent seeds that have been born. Love is so simple, yet the human mind complicates it and devalues the importance of creating and receiving love. If you are unable to truly receive the love from another soul, you cannot truly donate love to another. This is the only limitation of love. For some, loving and receiving comes very naturally, and for others, this is a foreign language. At birth, giving and receiving love is natural to all. However, human life and the experiences within it may affect the natural flow. Sometimes life affects the flow very subtly, and other times very drastically. How the flow of love is affected is determined by our interpretations and perceptions of others' actions towards ourselves. If we choose to hold on to unkind words spoken towards us in our hearts rather than allowing these words to flow to us and back into the spiritual world of energy, recycling it, we will create barriers and block the exchange of love. If these barriers are not acknowledged and removed, then the natural flow of love will be strenuous and sometimes seem too difficult to even attempt. This is why some people feel unable to love or receive love. If you feel this way, it is imperative to look within and determine what experience may have contributed to your barriers, and one by one recreate these moments in time, and imagine that love was present even if you feel it truly wasn't. Ask the universe to remove each barrier as you acknowledge it from your mind, body, and soul. Ask that love squash that barrier completely and replace it with an ounce of love. 1 ounce of love is able to exterminate 10,000 ounces of fear or hate from our hearts. With this intention, love will begin to flow towards you and through you continuously. Whether or not your soul has many barriers or none at all, it is imperative to remind yourself to feel and express love in all aspects of your life. When disharmony or disagreements present themselves, as they will, find a way to let ego go and problem solve using love as your only required tool. Remember, fear is extinguished by love. Fear is afraid of love, but you are not your fears. Therefore, do not fear love, love it.